Good evening. I'm Sean McKinney, the Chief of the Henderson Police Department. Today I'd like to update you on the incident that began on May 24th at 3:16 a.m. Of course, that was the morning that the Sheriff's Department and the Henderson Police Department began a pursuit, a traffic stop that turned into a pursuit on driver James Lee and passenger Bradley Gillespie. A several-day manhunt ensued for Mr. Gillespie. Mr. Gillespie was an escapee from Ohio, had a 2016 conviction of a double homicide. Today, I believe we have closure to our 5-day manhunt. We received a call of a body floating in the Ohio River, very close to the last known whereabouts of Mr. Gillespie. The Henderson Police Department, the Henderson Fire Department, Henderson Emergency Management, and the Henderson Coroner's Office responded. We also had assistance by Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. A preliminary investigation indicates we recovered the body of Bradley Gillespie from the river. There will be an autopsy performed on Tuesday. We are glad to have closure to this situation and this event. However, I do not feel it is appropriate to celebrate death of any life at this time. We'd like to thank all of our citizens at the City of Henderson who responded by calling in tips, complaints, anything out of the ordinary, and who also supported us through this difficult time. I'd also like to thank our 911 Emergency Center for all the support and the added work during this time. I've spoke on the operation of how many man-hours that this took and what a collaboration, a partnership, and teamwork, and how well everyone worked together. And I'd like to take a brief second just once again to thank all of those who helped with that. Of course, the Henderson County Sheriff's Office, the Henderson County Fire Department, the Kentucky State Police, Post 16, Kentucky Drug Enforcement Special Investigation West, the Kentucky State Police Aircraft Branch, the Henderson Emergency Management, Perry Township Fire Department, Indiana Department of Corrections and Water Patrol, Sturgis Police Department, Union County Sheriff's Office, Jasper Police Department, United States Marshal Fugitive Task Force, United States Marshal's Office out of Owensboro, Ohio State Patrol, Ohio State Patrol Aviation Section, and the United States Coast Guard. Again, this is preliminary, but everything that we have seen and done would indicate that this is Mr. Gillespie that we recovered. That's all I have at this point. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to ask them, or if there's any questions from the panel up here who helped me out.
Do you happen, I know it's probably going to have to wait for an autopsy for this, but do you happen to have a time and cause of death?
No, not at this time.
Do you have any idea how long the rest of the body had been in the Ohio River?
No, not at this time. I could, talking to the investigators who were on the scene, the levels or stages of decomposition are consistent with a body that's been in the water for 4 to 5 days. But that is, again, preliminary.
Now, the autopsy will be here, I'm assuming. Have you guys alerted the authorities in Ohio?
Yes, we've had contact with Ohio. The autopsy, Bruce, will be in Madisonville.
The autopsy is the Western Kentucky Medical Examiner's Office in Madison on Tuesday morning. Who found the body?
A boater on the Ohio River called in and notified us that he saw something that he believed to be a body. And our water patrol went out at that time and confirmed.
What time was that? What time was the call from them?
Do we have the time of the call? Anybody? approximately 130 hours.
In this body, it was in between Hayes Boat Ramp and then the riverfront boat ramp?
Yes.
Can you pin that down any further? I mean, exactly where it was found?
He's laying on the bottom. Once he starts to rise and gets caught in the current, it could be anywhere.
This was a spot in the river, though, that the task force had searched previously?
Yeah. He was just north of the hospital at mile marker 803. Could you say that question again, please?
This was a spot that the task force had searched along the river previously?
Yes, this investigation took several different turns as information developed and as we got information. But yes, we searched all of the riverbank and the riverfront. We always knew the river could be a possibility. We never ruled that out. As of Friday, when things didn't turn out on land, we really stepped up our boat patrol, and I had Henderson EMA get us a lot of boat support. I believe we had 5 boats on the water at one time. So we always knew that was a mode of transportation that he could have used to leave the area. He was last seen very close to the river. But as the coroner was just talking about, if a body goes down in the river, there's a certain amount of time it takes before that body rises. So without sonar and probably a lot of luck, it just makes it really hard to do at that point in time.
You had mentioned multiple times that you had no reason to believe that he had left Henderson. 5 days into this manhunt, a body, floats on the river. It is that of Gillespie's. Do you feel like there's any more you could have done to search for him?
No, we really, I've been in law enforcement 26 years, and it's been the longest 5 days of my career for sure. We did not, we turned over every stone. We searched and searched. There was probably at least 40 or more personnel that gave it all they had. So again, I think we've done everything we could. There was still a bit of unknown, of uncertainty of exactly where he was. You never know if someone makes it to a pickup truck or they do have a phone, they call somebody. So we really didn't know, and we done everything we could for the 4 or 5 days. And but now that we have this ending, it does make sense. But I don't regret for 1 minute all of the assets that came and helped, and we called for help. I don't regret any of that because I think the citizens of Henderson deserve that. And the number one priority through all of this was to keep them safe. Mr. Gillespie was an escapee. We believed he was injured, obviously desperate the way the situation turned out when he encountered law enforcement. So it was a worry, and we never did have any information that he was not in Henderson. So we had to assume that he could still be here.
Speaking of the citizens, has this investigation brought to light anything about the citizens of Henderson that maybe called in and gave tips or helped to get to the point we are today?
I feel like we have a very supportive community here. We've had citizens come up to our command post, bring Gatorade, bring water. We've had people call in. They've messaged our Facebook. And I know it's a bad situation all the way around, but I do think things like this, when we work together, it does tend to bring us together.
Now, this was, would you characterize this as a pretty intensive search? I mean, we had helicopters, boats, door to door.
Yes.
What else?
I think intensive is almost an understatement. It's the most intensive search I've ever been a part of. I don't really know what else we could have done. We had multiple canines, even a bloodhound. We had not 1 but 3 aircraft. The agencies, multiple agencies. We had boats. We came at it every way we could because we just really didn't know where he went or what he done. He could have went south. He could have backtracked. We had complaints. The other thing you have to understand is during something like this, you will get information from citizens and people who think they see things, and we have to look into those. And of course, they think that what they're seeing is valid. So that also pulls us in different directions and things of that nature. But it was a very, very intensive search.
I know, I've had people express to me the fear that he may have taken someone hostage.
Yes.
And that's how he was able to evade law enforcement for so long. Was that a concern of yours?
Absolutely. That was probably my number one concern. My number one concern was he would go down the riverbank or travel the riverbank at night, hide during the day, and at some point the desperation for food, water, shelter, vehicle, cell phone would probably build up. And it was a concern that, that could have took place. So that was a big concern.
You mentioned Friday, I'm pretty sure in your update, 1,600 man hours. What point are we at now, finding the body at 1:30, and what's the cost for this scale of an investigation?
That's a good question. We are definitely over 1,600 at this point. Honestly, to put a price tag on what this would be would be hard to do. We've not done it at this point. It's still very early. I would have to have a lot of information from the aircraft branches from the different state departments and the canines and things, but it's quite a lot. One thing I will say, during this, the city of Henderson never wavered when it come to money for whatever we needed. They never wavered on if we needed supplies, if we needed vehicles. At one point, we used the park and recreation vehicles. We had the water department come and help us search out sewers that are underneath the boat ramp and the parkway, and even allowed me to add an additional $10,000 to the reward. So they've been very supportive, but I believe the price tag will be pretty high. But it's just a part of business.
Voter found the body. Will that voter receive the reward?
We'll have to talk about that. I believe it was, I may have said for an arrest, but I'd be more than glad to talk to the officials about that and see how that plays out.
Was there any weapon found on the body or near the body?
No, I don't think so.
To clarify, yesterday there was like a dive team at Hayes Boat Ramp, and I know that you just said that it was unrelated to the manhunt. What was that in relation to?
That was totally unrelated to anything. Just someone decided to throw something into the river. It was a little odd, so we had to investigate that.
I have a question about tip we got about a woman whose vehicle had been Sims was broken into by Gillespie and James Lee on their way down to Evansville. Can you confirm that?
What I can say is what I know about that is, speaking with the U.S. Marshals, they did receive a report from Vincennes that a vehicle had been broken into, and we do believe that it was them. This happened prior to him making it to Kentucky. So, yeah, I can confirm that there was a break-in in Vincennes.
Do you know if, speaking with the woman, they took her purse. Do you know if either of the men who escaped made purchases with any funds she may have had?
Yeah, I'm not aware of that. I believe everything was shut off, and that was something that was being worked on by the Marshal Service if this turned into a longer type investigation. And there's a lot of things behind the scenes electronically and different things that was still going on around the clock.
Now, I know you said it's still a preliminary investigation. Were you able to confirm the tattoos that we've been mentioning he has with the body today?
We're basing a lot of it on the tattoos, yes.
And has his family been notified? I know you mentioned authorities in Ohio, but I know his daughter, had posted something. So I didn't know if you've reached out to them as well.
Yes, they've been notified. His sister has been notified, and she's actually made contact with Lieutenant Nevels. Is there anything else? Thank you all so much.